My name is Abhishek Biswas and I am an educator at Key2Success Academy, Nagar, RAIPUR. And as I promised yesterday, today we are going to start with literary theory again. Yesterday I already explained to you about new criticism and the key members in the new criticism. And now we one by one in each and every video we are going to discuss each one writers. So today we are going to discuss about I.A. Richards. Let's start then. So who is I.A. Richards? His full name is Yvonne Armstrong Richards. Yvonne Armstrong Richards. By profession, he was a British literary critic, and most importantly he was a teacher. And he is considered as the precursor to new criticism. So he was the one who was not a leading figure in new criticism, as I already explained to you yesterday. Now, since he was from the background of new criticism, he has written some works, which is the most important part of studying any of the writers. UGC is going to ask, UGC NET is going to ask you about the work itself, and most probably the question comes in the form of matching. You need to match the authors with their respective works. Now the major works by I.A. Richards are: first, Principles of Literary Criticism. Principles of Literary Criticism. Then we have Practical Criticism. Now this one is a very important work by IA Richards practical criticism, because it has a research in it. So what happened is that IA Richards, while he was a teacher at Cambridge University, he gave some poems to his students, which were unlabeled poems. Unlabeled poems. That means that poem doesn't have the name of the writer or the year in which it was written, and asked his students to evaluate the poem and to criticize the poem and share their views about the poem. Now the next day when the students arrived to the class, it was observed that the students had a kind of a regular average kind of response, nothing significant as such. Now when IA Richards told them that who was the author of those poems, that changed the perspective of the students about the poem. The criticism became a different. So by this experiment, IA Richards wants to establish that when we know about the writer, when we know about the author, there are certain kind of things that already goes through our mind. So when we know about the stature of the author, the stature of the writer, we already have prejudices for them, and that lets us to evaluate the work in an incorrect manner. So this kind of experiment was done and reported in practical criticism. So this is a direct question which UGC asked, that which work of IA Richards reports the finding of his experiment. Now this work is 1929. Then thirdly we have the meaning of meaning. Again a very important work. The meaning of meaning. 1923. Now this work has a co-author as well. Co-authored with C.K. Ogden. C.K. Ogden. Now, in this work, he has introduced a concept which is called semantic triangle. This is something I believe you must be knowing if you have read linguistics, if you have studied linguistics. Semantic triangle. Now, what is a semantic triangle? Now, if you can see this triangle, it says, now let us understand it with the example. It will be much better for us if we understand this with the example. Now, consider the word dog, D-O-G, dog. When I spell out this word, dog, there are two things that the listener hears. There are two things that goes in mind of the listener. First one is a real world dog, an image of a dog. Image of a dog, which goes into the mind of the listener. And a concept of a dog, like a flurry, four-legged animal. This is the concept that goes into the mind of the reader, the listener, and this is the image, the real world dog. Like if I am pointing out at a dog, so the reader knows that for which dog I am talking about, and a reference of that object comes into his mind, which is a flurry, four-legged animal. Furry, sorry, not flurry, it's furry. F-U-double-R-Y, furry. Okay, so this is semantic triangle. Now, the second thing that was introduced in this work was 4 types of meanings. So I.A. Richards believed that a sentence or a word has 4 types of meanings. Now, which are those 4 types of meanings? First one is the sense, the actual sense. Then the feeling. Thirdly, the tone. And fourthly, intention. So these are those 4 types of meaning which a sentence or a word would have according to I.A. Richards. So I want you guys to remember all 4 of them, because UGC tend to ask which are the 4 types of meanings according to I.A. Richards. And fourthly, his work is the philosophy of rhetoric. So that's it about today's class, guys, about I.A. Richards. Let us get a quick revision. So in new criticism we are dealing with I.A. Richards. His full name goes Ivor Armstrong Richards. By profession he is a British literary critic and a teacher. And he is considered as the precursor to new criticism. Now in his major works we have Principles of Literary Criticism in 1924. Now we need to remember those names because UGC will ask you to match these names with the respected authors. The second one is Practical Criticism, which deals with the experiment, which I already discussed. This is an important one. Again, this is also very important one, the meaning of meaning. Third, the meaning of meaning with C.K. Ogden. We must need to remember it was co-written with C.K. Ogden, and he introduces the concept of semantic triangle. Again, we discussed semantic triangle. The word dog refers to the real world object of dog, animal, and also provides us a concept in our mind, which is a furry 4-legged animal. And the 4 types of meaning in this work are sense, feeling, tone, intention. We need to remember all 4 of those. And fourthly, the principle of rhetoric. Here he discusses about the art of rhetorics. So that's it about today's class. Again, tomorrow we will discuss about another writer from new criticism, and this will be going to be a literary theory playlist for you all. So thank you guys, thank you for your time, and soon we are going to start our new batch for UGC NET December 2025 in English literature. And if you want to get admitted in our institute, you can get each and every details from the description box below. Thank you again, thank you for your time, and have a great day.